Adam, can you tell us why and how you chose to follow the Quran alone, instead of relying on Hadith books?
Well, Omar, I was born a Sunni like most Muslims. I practiced worship on and off. Sometimes I prayed, sometimes I gave Sadaqa. But honestly, I knew very little about Islam, even though I was born into it. Everything I thought I knew about Islam came from what I heard here and there from these so-called scholars. I had never done any real research on my own. I was reading the Quran on and off, and honestly not understanding most of it. I was just reading for the sake of reading. But in a way, I was embarrassed to be a Muslim. I keep hearing all this nonsense about Islam. In the media, they portrayed us as terrorists who are hungry for killing people. I keep hearing this so-called scholars talk about women as if they were slaves to men. I keep hearing about dipping flies into a drink, drinking camel urine, and many things that just did not make any sense at all.
How did you break free from this traditional but incorrect view of Islam?
SubhanAllah, when Allah knows you are sincerely searching for the truth, He guides you to it. For me, it began by coincidence when I came across a man named Muhammad al-Shaharur. He spoke about Islam in a way I had never heard before. I started listening to his talks and reading many of his books. What al-Shaharur did for me, and for many others, was open our eyes to the reality that most Muslims don't truly know Islam, don't know the Quran, and are simply blind followers of scholars. He stressed that as Muslims, we must read and study the Quran ourselves. Otherwise, we are just following scholars instead of following what Allah commanded. Today, as I have learned a lot since I have started studying Islam, I am convinced that he and a few others like him are messengers from Allah to wake us up from the coma we are in and go back to the Quran. He and others like Muhammad Hadaya, Tariq Swaidan, Hassan Farhan, and this new-faced Naif bin Nahar all inspire you to go back to the Quran. As with all scholars and thinkers, I don't agree with everything they say. I always compare their words to the Quran. But what I have learned from them is this: you must read and study the Quran on your own. Otherwise, you become one of the people Allah described in chapter 9. They have taken their scholars and monks as lords besides Allah, and also the Messiah, the son of Mary. Yet they were not commanded except to worship one God. There is no deity except Him. Exalted is He above whatever they associate with Him.
So what you're saying is, these people inspired you to go back to the Quran and study it for yourself. They didn't force their own ideas or beliefs on you.
Exactly, Omar. They gave me the confidence that reading and reflecting on the Quran is something every Muslim can and should do. And that's exactly what I did. I went back to the Quran and started reading. To my surprise, the more I read and reread, the clearer many things became. I began comparing my own understanding of verses with the interpretations of the so-called Salaf and scholars, and it was mind-boggling. Verses that are crystal clear, even a child could understand them. They twist and distort, trying to convince you they mean something completely different. One of the first verses that comes to mind was in chapter 15. Indeed, it is we who sent down the dhikr, and indeed we will surely guard it. Almost every explanation claimed dhikr here meant both the Quran and the Sunnah. Endless arguments to prove that Allah protected both. But by then, I already knew the Sunnah was never preserved. It clearly contradicts the Quran, so how could it have been divinely protected? Then I came across this verse in chapter 41. Indeed, those who disbelieve in the reminder, al-dhikr, when it comes to them, and indeed it is an honored book. Falsehood cannot approach it from before it or from behind it. It is a revelation from one who is wise and praiseworthy. This verse clearly defines al-dhikr as the book of Allah. No doubts, no excuses. But again, most people, and the so-called scholars, will argue, you don't understand the verse, are you a scholar? The truth is, you don't need to be a scholar or an expert to see what is clearly meant. Al-dhikr is the book of Allah. All you need is the ability to read. They want you to doubt your own eyes and ignore verses that are crystal clear, insisting instead on their interpretations, even when no interpretation is needed in the first place.
Yes, I come across these people too. They try to justify fabricated hadiths and twist the meanings of Quranic verses just to prove that hadith is preserved. Honestly, I don't know why they do that. Who made them Allah's spokesperson? They are clearly in the wrong.
I agree, Omar. I don't know what their intentions are either, but most of them clearly don't understand the basics of Islam. Their main source of religion is Hadith, not the Quran. And to defend this, they insist that Hadiths are 100% authentic. Going back to my journey of becoming a Quran-only Muslim, many people would point to verses about obeying the messenger or following the prophet. They go as far as saying that if you don't follow Hadith, you're a straight-out kafir. It's basically fear tactics, pressuring people into believing that following Hadith is the same as obeying the messenger. What's truly ironic is that even if someone decided to follow Hadith, it's not clear at all which Hadiths they should follow. Should it be the Sunni collections or the Shia collections? Each group claims their books are authentic and preserved, yet the two sets of books are very different and often give completely opposite versions of Islam. So logically, it makes no sense that obeying the prophet or following the messenger could mean following these Hadith books. Their message is completely different from the Quran.
So why and how did you reach the conclusion that we must follow the Quran only?
As I continued reading the Quran, I found countless verses commanding us to follow it alone. Let me share just a few examples. One very clear verse is in chapter 4. Then do they not reflect upon the Quran? If it had been from any other than Allah, they would have found within it much contradiction. So-called scholars often claim this verse is only about proving the Quran is from Allah, but they ignore the second part, which clearly states that anything besides the Quran is full of contradictions. And that's exactly what we see today. Endless contradictions in the Hadith books. Again, clear text, you only have to read it. Another example is in chapter 43. So adhere to what has been revealed to you. Indeed, you are on a straight path. And indeed, it is a reminder, al-dhikr, for you and your people, and you will all be questioned. Also in chapter 7, this is a book revealed to you, so let there not be in your breast distress because of it, that you may warn thereby, and as a reminder to the believers. Follow what has been revealed to you from your Lord, and do not follow other allies besides him. Little do you remember, and in chapter 13, these are the verses of the book. And what has been revealed to you from your Lord is the truth, but most of the people do not believe. Verses like these and many more make it crystal clear. We are commanded to follow the Quran alone and no other book.
So what does it really mean to obey and follow the messenger?
To obey and follow the messenger means to follow the message he was commanded to deliver, the Quran. Allah said in chapter 28, verse 47, Our Lord, why did you not send us a messenger so we could have followed your verses and been among the believers? The verse so we could follow what? Allah verses. Once you truly research, you'll realize these hadith books are exactly what they are. Man-made. The Prophet himself did not write them. That's the only logical conclusion you'll reach when you study with sincerity. Don't take my word for it. Just read the Quran, reflect on it, and compare it with the hadith books. See what conclusion you arrive at for yourself.
Yes, the message is clear. Do your own research, just as we did.
Let me conclude by sharing a few verses where Allah describes those who follow books and guidance other than the Quran. Allah said in chapter 31, verses 6 to 7, And among the people is he who purchases idle talk to mislead others from the way of Allah without knowledge, and takes it in ridicule. For such there will be a humiliating punishment. And when our verses are recited to him, he turns away arrogantly as if he had not heard them, as if in his ears were deafness. So give him tidings of a painful punishment, and in chapter 29, verses 50 to 51, And they say, Why are not signs sent down to him from his Lord? Say, the signs are only with Allah, and I am only a clear warner. And is it not sufficient for them that we have sent down to you the book which is recited to them? Indeed, in that is a mercy and reminder for a people who believe. And in chapter 41, verse 26, And those who disbelieve say, Do not listen to this Quran, but speak noisily during it so that you may overcome. And in chapter 10, verses 15 to 16, And when our verses are recited to them as clear proofs, those who do not expect the meeting with us say, Bring us a Quran other than this, or change it. Say, O Muhammad, it is not for me to change it on my own accord. I only follow what is revealed to me. Indeed, I fear, if I were to disobey my Lord, the punishment of a tremendous day. Say, if Allah had willed, I would not have recited it to you, nor would he have made it known to you. For I had remained among you a lifetime before it, then will you not reason? And in chapter 27, verse 84, Until when they arrive, he will say, Did you deny my verses while you did not encompass them in knowledge? Or what was it that you were doing? And in chapter 6, verse 130, O company of jinn and mankind, did there not come to you messengers from among you, relating to you my verses and warning you of the meeting of this day of yours? They will say, we bear witness against ourselves. And the worldly life had deluded them, and they will bear witness against themselves that they were disbelievers. And in chapter 3, verse 151, we will cast terror into the hearts of those who disbelieve for what they have associated with Allah, of that for which he had not sent down any authority. And their refuge will be the fire, and wretched is the residence of the wrongdoers. So study these verses for yourself. Listen to every interpretation, but in the end, weigh everything against the Quran and draw your own conclusion.
Thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed discovering the real Islam and found the information helpful.
Don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you can continue learning more about Islam directly from the Quran.